welcome back to my channel. I'm going to show you how I look after my brows. As you can see, they are very horrifically grown out. So this is the first time I'm using the Veet Sensitive Precision Beauty Styler. So this is what it looks like, and it comes with a cap. And the original attachment has two sides, one being 16mm long and the other side is 6mm long, which is really great if you want to get really close to your brow area. It also comes in a pouch, which is really helpful, and it also comes with a battery, which is also really helpful. I'm going to be using that word a lot, right? It also comes with a double-sided comb attachment, one being 4mm and the other one being 2mm. I'll show you how I use this later on. So this is really great for trimming down your really long brow hairs. If you have a lot of peach fuzz, who am I kidding? I'm just saying that to be polite. If you have a female beard or mustache, this attachment is your new best friend. It is 20mm long and it is great to remove those unwanted facial hairs. This also comes with a comb attachment. If you want to use it elsewhere, that's up to you. I feel absolutely ridiculous doing this whole modeling a Veet trimmer thing. Never done this before, so. It also comes with a brush to clean in between the razor, which is really handy dandy. So the first thing that I'm going to do, which a lot of people don't do, but something that I started to do since I started colouring my hair, is to bleach my brows. Just to make them slightly lighter. So I'm taking the Boots Smooth Care Hair Lightener and Accelerator Cream, mixing that up into even quantities and applying that with a foundation brush onto my brows. First I go in the direction of my brow hairs and then I go on the opposite direction so that I can really get in between each hair so that it doesn't develop really unevenly. You have to watch this as this develops. I would not recommend even turning around for 30 seconds and not checking your brows. Just stare at them the whole time because you don't want them to go too light. Everybody's brows different. Mine are thicker, so I can keep this on for like 7 minutes, but some people can't even keep this on for a minute without it going like bright orange or blonde. So please keep an eye on it until you're satisfied with the colour and then you're ready to take it off. So for those of you who do ask, my hair colour is a 7 base mixed with a 30 volume developer. It's hairdresser's lingo, so if you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. But if you do tell your hairdresser, they will know exactly what I'm talking about. So my brow hairs are ridiculously long. The first thing I'm going to do is get my spoolie and brush my hairs upwards at the front and just take my scissors and trim them down so that they are level. Please be careful while doing this step. You don't want to trim them too short. They will grow back quite quickly, but you don't really want to mess it up, if you know what I mean. So when I first started using this trimmer, I was quite nervous, and it's mostly because I don't trust myself. I tend to mess everything up. So I just started off with like cleaning on top, using the longer side and to help me get a straight line. This is quite difficult at first because the direction of the hair, you want to be able to take the blade against the direction of the growth, which is what's going to trim it at its closest. So it took me some time, but I did get there in the end. When you do this, it's super important that you stretch your skin so that you can get really close to the hair and trim it as short as possible, and also it will protect the hair from your head being accidentally trimmed. So I could have gone in with the trimmer to do the underneath of my brows, but I prefer to have the hair pulled out rather than just trimmed. Because it lasts longer and it just looks a lot neater for me personally. But if you do have sensitive skin, then definitely use the trimmer. I'm using these tweezers, which I just picked up from Superdrug. Here's a little trick for you that helps get rid of all the annoying hairs. If you get a brush, I'm using a stippling brush, and just spraying it with antiseptic and wait for it to dry, and then you can use it to dust off the hair just so that you can clearly see the shape of your brow, and go back in with my tweezers just to shape them up. I'm sticking with the shape that I already have of my brows. I'm just taking out the stray hairs so that I don't make too many mistakes. I know there's two types of tweezers. There are these pointy ones and then there are the flat ones, the ones with the flat edge. I prefer to use the pointy ones because they're better for taking out ingrown hairs and you can get more of an accurate and precise, they're just easier to work with. Little tip, if you do find this painful, just rub across your skin with your finger very gently. Make sure your hands are clean. This will help soothe the pain a bit more. And for the front, I'm just tugging at the skin, pulling it very gently up at the beginning of the brow to make as much of a straight line as possible. And don't forget to go in and do the center of your brows as well, the monobrow. Make sure though you don't tweeze your eyebrows too far apart. You don't want a huge gap. It does not look, it's not very flattering for the face. unless that's what you prefer to do. You can do what you like. And then I'm just going back in to trim the extra hairs that need trimming, just to make sure that everything is neatened up and that I'm happy with it. One of my favourite things about this beauty styler is I actually used to have eczema around my eye area. You can see that's why I have a lot of discoloration on my eyelids and on my under eyes. I do have a lot of discoloration as well, because this doesn't get right up against your skin and there's no sort of fear that you're going to cut your skin. It doesn't rub against your skin. It's like the most perfect thing for those days that when my eyes are sensitive and I still want to do my brows but without threading or tweezing. I think it's really great for that. Now I'm taking the comb attachment in the 4mm, which is a slightly longer one, and I'm just taking that across my brows to trim my brow hairs because they are really long. I don't mind them being really long for those natural makeup days or the like days without any makeup. I think my brows look great like this. However, when I go to fill them in, I do find it really difficult to get in between each and every hair, and they just look horrifically messy. So I have gone ahead and trimmed them. This was my first time using this to trim my brows. I thought they were quite short. I was not expecting them to become this short. I mean, 4mm is quite, you know, a small length, but I was just hoping they weren't this short, and then I just kind of wanted to even them out, so I just went with it. But they grew back pretty quickly, and once I filled them in, they looked much better and they were just easier to manage. So I don't know whether you like to admit it or not, but let's be real, we all have some peach fuzz or hair in this area. So I just thought I should try out the larger attachment where I can. I just went across my hairline to see if there was anything that I could just reshape and trim. I was blessed with baby hairs, a lot of baby hairs. So was Kim Kardashian. I didn't know this. She had a lot of baby hairs, and then I saw how she just like lasered it all off, and now she looks great. So hopefully one day I can do that to my own face and get rid of a lot of my baby hairs because it just looks so unneat. So to finish this off, I'm going to show you how I fill in my brows. I went in with the Anastasia Dip Brow in the shade Chocolate. Please bear in mind, I usually fill my brows in a lot nicer than I am doing right now. It's just filming this, having your camera in front of you, having a mirror in front of you. It's the most difficult thing to fill in your brows when you're filming, and do your eyeliner as well. So the brush I'm using is a brush that came with the Milani brow pomade. I didn't like the brow pomade as much as I like the brush. I found that the brow pomade is quite patchy. So how I fill in my brows is, I do it different every time, but I prefer to always start off with the tail and just elongate it a little bit, especially when I'm going to be using or wearing heavy eye makeup. I want to elongate my brows a bit. I then go to the front, try and straighten up the line with as little product as I can. And I'm also using short hair like strokes, even though, let's be real, this doesn't actually look natural at all now that I think about it. But I only go this heavy when I'm actually going to be wearing eye makeup. Now, as you can see here, I actually messed up. I tried to fix it and I messed up even further because that's what Anna does. But I will show you how I fix that later after I conceal my brows. And then after I've done the bottom line, I go ahead and create the shape of my top line and join it up to the arch. Where the product has gone quite patchy on me, I've just tried to go back in and go over some of those lines, and then I just thought I should extend my tail of the brow a little bit more. Then I've gone back in with the spoolie on the other side of the brush, and I'm just brushing the front out to make it all blend out and look reasonably natural. So I tend to do this anyway. I don't like to use concealer to carve out my brow because I think a concealer is way too heavy. I like to use a foundation. And I like to use a foundation because it's much more light and the colour is exactly the same as what's on the rest of my face right now. It's not lighter or anything like that. And I just go in with a flat definer brush and start at the front of my brow and just drag it to the end. I then try to drag the product upwards or downwards into the skin so that it doesn't look too heavy around the brow. So this is what my brows tend to look like afterwards. Please bear in mind my dip brow was drying up, so it is a little bit patchy, but for the most, this is kind of how I create my shape. Thank you very much for watching. If you do have any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Find me on Instagram at makeupbyaj. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!